This is 13 Minutes. I'm Elliot Reeves. My guest today is Paddy Hunter. Paddy, it's brilliant to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Elliot, for having me. Delighted to be here.
It's an absolute pleasure. That's quite a background you've got.
I know, I wish it was mine, to be honest with you. It's not mine, but it's just an image from Google Images. Thank you, Google. But that's the type of thing I need to be having in my house, but obviously don't have the space for it at the moment.
Well, you'll get there one day, I'm quite sure.
Fingers crossed.
So, Paddy, in these sort of series of interviews, I've been allowing people to introduce themselves however they wish to. So, who is Paddy Hunter?
It's a great question. It's a great question. Good one to start off with. And I suppose sometimes I feel like I live somewhat of a double life. So, on one hand, I'm an accountant by trade, who works for an insurance company as an auditor, and people sort of run away from me day to day, and I try to chase them, but that's by day. But by night and weekend, on the other side of it, I'm like this DJ / music producer. So it feels a little bit strange sometimes balancing the two, and where does one stop and the other one begin?
Exactly.
But it's absolutely great. I'm passionate about both. Like, I love what I do during the day, like helping people, adding value to their business or, their line of business. But I also really like the creative aspect of creating music and entertaining. So, if it's DJing or creating music, I just really like making something that's going to make people feel good. So, yeah, I suppose that gives you a little bit of a flavour about what I like to sort of achieve.
I love it. We go a long way back. We went to school together.
Oh, absolutely, mate. I mean, it's actually unbelievable how quick time goes, and it's 20 years since we kind of left school.
Yeah, I know, right?
Going back probably 30 years or something like that from primary school. Yeah. Just makes you feel a little bit old, but
it does. Oh, when did your passion for music start?
Oh, early age. I would say like start of my teens. I really sort of was feeling dance music. So that's house music and trance music specifically is what I love. I don't know what it must be, something that's like in my blood. You're sort of born with, because it just came out of nowhere. It's not like my mother and father were like house music fans or anything like that, and it just happened, just a vibe, and then I just caught onto it and ended up getting my first set of decks at 16, and then just taking it through from there, doing some DJing in local nightclubs when I was in my late teens. And gave it up for a while to sort of do my chartered accountancy career, but my passion has just been reignited in recent years for it, so I'm absolutely loving it.
I remember back in the day, actually, some of your like mixtapes were absolutely legendary.
Thanks, mate. That's great feedback.
Who have been some of your biggest influences in terms of your music?
Oh, do you know what? It's been a journey. Like, you have so many artists and sort of people that inspire you, but I'd say like going back to when I was a whippersnapper, if you want, absolutely loved Judge Jules. There was no one like him in sort of the industry at the time. He was quite a clever guy. The metaphors going on and all that sort of thing. It's just he was really witty, but there was no one like him at the time. It was so popular, and I suppose getting on that bandwagon, he really kind of inspired me as a DJ. But in terms of house music production, there's just so many. There's so much good music out there to inspire you. So I don't think I could probably pick one, but like the Daft Punk guys, they've been on the scene for so long, making loads of hits. And I think, to be honest, they are probably one of the biggest influences. That's why I like that sort of funky vibe in my music.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Love
all
that.
stuff.
I remember playing. I used to play pool back in the day at Marco's Pool Hall, and
Yeah.
like Daft Punk Phoenix was one of the feature songs that just played like all the time there, man. It was so good.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Repeat.
Yeah, exactly. So, Paddy, tell me about the sort of lockdown situation. I mean, I don't actually know, so it'll be interesting to find out. What's your actual work life been like, and how have you kept yourself entertained?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. To be honest with you, prior to lockdown, because of the nature of my job, we work remotely quite a fair bit. Always have done in the industry. Whether it's been travelling to London, Manchester, all these sort of UK cities to do work in certain offices.
Mm-hmm.
But even now, being based in Edinburgh, I live sort of between Edinburgh and Glasgow now. But I was working 2-3 times a week from home anyway. So the adoption of working from home full time was probably easier for me than it is for other people, and I can totally appreciate. Like, there's a lot of people at the moment kind of still adapting to that and never work from home really. But for me, it's been quite a smooth transition compared to relatively. But I think just having that routine. So, for example, each day my wife and I, we like to get out for at least an hour's walk and try and get some new routes. We're working we live in like a very walkable area near Falkirk.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of really good walking routes along canals, woodland, all that stuff. So it's quite good from that respect. You do feel like you can get a good bit of fresh air. But I think, as I was saying to you, like before as well, a lot of the stuff that I'm interested in is sort of indoor stuff. So making music 100% of the times indoors on a computer, equipment, that sort of thing. And that keeps me, it's one of those things you think, I think I sit there for 10 minutes, but you end up sitting there for like an hour and a half and time's just flown. So never feel like I've been fortunate enough never to feel like I'm like struggling to fill time. But I've been embarking on a little bit of what you've been doing, the live streaming stuff. Doing live streaming DJ sets on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all that stuff. So keeping myself interested, digging out some new music to play, and also at the same time entertaining a smaller number of people than you would like, but still the feedback's been great from those little sessions. So hopefully it was something we can continue after lockdown.
100%, yeah. I mean, you've had a couple of your songs on Spotify, and they've been listed on playlists that have had like over 1 million listens.
Totally, absolutely blown away. Like my latest track, it's actually up to about 150,000 streams on Spotify. So really good sort of coup for me, like getting spotted by Spotify's playlist. As you said, 1.3 million listeners. So every day looking at the stats coming through, it's absolutely phenomenal to see that. And your track surrounded by like household names. Like I think underneath I've got Armin van Helden or Todd Terry's track just below it, and I'm like, whoa. But yeah, no, brilliant. And it just inspires you to take it to the next level.
Yeah, your DJ name these days is Le Bon. How did that come about?
To be honest, a DJ name is a very difficult thing to come about. So you can go by your normal name, right? But sometimes it's like hearing your own voice. Your own name doesn't sound as cool as it maybe sounds to other people, or it doesn't sound as good when you see it or listening to it. So I thought, what can I do here to come up with a good DJ name? So it's really simple. I've got 2 cats, a boy cat and a girl cat. The boy cat's called Leo, the girl cat's called Bonnie. So I just took the start of the 2 names and put them together. And that's why the sort of icon, the logo for my logo is a cat. So yeah, very straightforward and simple, but I'm locked into it now, and I like it. So yeah, we'll just keep it going from there. And I think one of the worst things you can do as an artist is keep changing name. Once you got it, I think stick with it.
Yeah. I had no idea. That's brilliant.
It's a bit of an odd one, but yeah.
Classic. Paddy, how would you like to see? Or I should start with actually. How do you think the world will change as a result of what's happening just now?
Well, I think there's going to be, and there is already a lot of changes happening. So even if we just take home working, for example, before I've worked for companies where there was a reluctance for people to work from home.
Yeah.
And I think, and a reluctance from certain employees to work from home to a certain extent. And I think that's going to have to evolve, move forward. So people are going to get a taste for working from home, because you can be quite productive. You're on conference calls a lot and you have to stick to timing. So there are efficiencies to be gained from working from home, as well as, efficiencies from working from the office. But until it feels safe to go back to offices, it's going to be a while. For me personally, I don't really like the idea of going to an office and wearing a mask and sort of having to sit maybe really far away from some people I work with screens in between. There's almost kind of no point of being there. So I think that's going to change. Maybe companies will start seeing efficiencies and costs as well from not having office space, can reduce the number of people. But I think there's so many people affected, even from things like going out to your local restaurant for a meal or pub. Who knows what it's going to look like? So I just think that there are going to be so many changes for us to adapt to. But, we've done this for millions of years or hundreds of thousands of years already, adapt as a human race. So I think we'll be fine, but it'll just take us that little bit of time to get round it. But I think just hopefully as well, just as a note on that, hopefully people that have sort of been suffering from this, there start to be positivity which filters through, so they can get back to some normality soon.
Yeah, definitely. Good answer. 13 minutes doesn't last terribly long, Paddy. No. So just in brief for this one, how would you like to see the world to change?
Cool. So I think for me, we can all, before the lockdown, maybe we got a little bit on autopilot. You just don't think too much. I think what's going to do is slow us down a little bit, and maybe take a step back and think about things more clearly and really think about what other people are going through. So I think empathy, being more empathetic to others, will hopefully start to come through a lot more in the way we interact with each other. And that's what I would really like to see.
Yeah, I hope so too. So too. What advice or insight would you give to anyone that was struggling at the moment?
I suppose firstly, just, starting with the basics like routine. It's important to have a really good routine, stick to it so that you feel like you're achieving things. I think keeping yourself busy is a big one. So you might not, say you have some time free, why not reignite some passions which you've had in the past, a little bit like what we were talking about before. Maybe take up some new hobbies, learn things. I actually love that, and it's such a great way to feel fulfilled. And I think every night, what I try to do, it doesn't happen every night, but I really try to do this, is think of 3 things that I'm looking forward to do the next day or achieve.
I like that.
And it just makes me feel like spurred on for the next day and starts me off on the right foot. So maybe that's something that others can benefit from.
That's awesome. Paddy, this has been great fun. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so Paddy Hunter the Professional, Patrick Hunter, you can find me on LinkedIn as a chartered accountant, but Le Bon UK, which is my alias for house music, you can find me on Spotify, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Instagram, Facebook, all of those platforms. So absolutely. Come find me.
Yeah, people should definitely check out your stuff. It's brilliant, man. I'm a huge fan. Thanks,
Elliot, and thanks so much for having me. You're doing great stuff. So keep up the great work. I love the shows.
Thanks, dude. Well, look after yourself, Paddy, and we'll speak again soon, I'm sure. I look forward to your next live stream.
Absolutely. Thanks, Elliot. Take care of yourself. Cheers. Bye.